Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for this August 26th briefing on COVID-19. We've been doing this briefing for 20 weeks now, and we keep working to inform you and update you on the latest information. We never imagined that we would be looking towards the fall and still be in phase 2. Cases continue to rise, and we continue to find ways to adapt. We must stay the course and use the tools we have to fight COVID-19. We have to remain steadfast and prepare for a different sort of autumn and winter than we experienced before. As we look ahead and it starts to get colder outside, we need to think about how to continue to maximize our ability to utilize our outdoor spaces. One thing we know about this virus is that it's less likely to spread in outdoor spaces where there's good airflow and opportunities to physically distance. We're starting to find creative ways to bring our businesses and our restaurants outside to accommodate these changes, as well as use our parklets and streeteries. Using our outdoor spaces as places to safely interact will be just another tool to help us fight COVID-19 and remain safe. Our restaurants can get outdoor heaters, and we can use blankets on our back patios, and we can become cozy outside in both public and private spaces. We need to invest in making our outdoor spaces comfortable and accessible as we enter into fall. Anacortes has been doing a great job of focusing our energy on supporting our business community and supporting our essential workers at our healthcare centers, our drugstores, our child care facilities, our postal service workers, and all the people that keep our lives running smoothly during these unprecedented times. We're adapting our homes and our communities to stay safe and healthy. As we get near the end of this summer, I'm challenging you to think and look at fall and new ways to envision our upcoming holidays. We're going to have to think differently on how we have our celebrations and our family gatherings and what shopping will look like. I know that Anacortes is creative and we're innovative in this community. The city will be working along with our community into the fall and winter to support economic stability and public health for Anacortes. Previously, museums were not permitted to open until phase 3, and now museums are permitted to operate in phase 2 provided they meet all the requirements released by the governors last week. Museums must adopt a written plan to meet the requirements, such as requiring face masks, operating a total capacity limited to 25%, displaying signs that say "do not touch," and utilizing online and phone reservation systems to limit interactions, and sanitizing high-touch services, and installing signs to discourage group congregation. Our museum is busy planning on how this will look, and they plan on opening shortly after Labor Day. Bowling alleys. Another change that we've seen is bowling facilities that now can operate with certain restrictions. These facilities must adopt a written procedure for employee safety and customer interaction. Some of the new guidance for phase 2 and 3 is that there may only be 2 bowlers per lane. There are no spectators allowed, and all bowlers must maintain 6-foot distance between them and the other lanes, and sharing the equipment is not allowed. Bowling is now considered an exception to the mask mandate, and masks must be worn at all times while bowling. Additionally, there has been changes to what's allowed outside during phase 2 for our outdoor recreation activities. Agritourism, go-kart tracks, motocross facilities, raceways, and other participant-only motorsports are allowed without spectators and with some restrictions. Other changes include allowing staffing outdoor tennis facilities, guided ATV, paddle sports, and horseback riding, guided fishing, zoos, and aquarium, and other activities that meet requirements. Agritourism, which links agricultural production with tourism at farms and ranches and other agricultural businesses, is allowed if the facility adopts a plan that assures employee safety and customer interaction that comply with the safety and the health recommendations laid out by the state. So here at home in Anacortes, Island Hospital to date has tested a total of 4,297 people. We've had a total of 53 positive cases, and from that, 10 positive cases were hospitalized. Fortunately for our community, we've had no deaths. So in Skagit County, to meet the metrics to get to phase 3, this is where we are. Metric number 1. We're currently at 79.7 cases per 100,000 residents, and the county must have fewer than 25 cases per 100,000 residents over a 14-day period to meet this metric. And as you recall, we had this metric met prior to the July 4th weekend. Metric number 2. A county must have greater than 50 individuals tested per each new case during the prior week to meet this metric. We are still awaiting updated material from our county and from the state health department on that metric. Metric number 3, we have 2.4% individuals testing positive, and we must have less than 2% to meet that metric. Number 4, the percentage of beds occupied in the county must be less than 80%. We are currently at 82.3%, and these beds are like in our hospitals. Metric number 5. Lastly, the percentage of these beds occupied by COVID-19 cases must be less than 10%, and we are currently at 3.3%. As of yesterday, the Skagit County Health District reported 985 cases, 22 fatalities, and 88 total hospitalized cases in Skagit County. We have seen a small decrease in cases over the last week, but it's important to understand the context. We are 6 weeks out from the 4th of July. After both Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Father's Day, we saw spikes in cases to social and family gatherings. Continuing to keep our cases down is our only way to move to phase 3 and continue to keep this community safe. It all depends on each of us making good choices on the upcoming Labor Day weekend. Gathering of over 5 people are not permitted, and you must employ social distance practicing, including wearing masks at all times. Even when you are at a private residence with 5 or fewer people from outside your household. We are seeing the numbers climb globally to 23.52 million cases, with 5.72 million cases in the United States. And in the United States, we've had 176,617 deaths. It's time to stay the course. Beginning August 31st, the use of the Skagit County testing site will be limited to those that live in or work in Skagit County only. Over the past 3 months, about half all those utilizing the testing site have lived somewhere besides our county. This testing facility at Skagit Valley College will continue to be open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. through at least December of this year. They have tested 22,569 tests. 524 people have tested positive so far. There are 37 positive tests reported from testing at the testing site just this last week. Well, COVID-19 has caused disruption in our lives and has changed what we do day to day. The city has been working hard to make sure that while you navigate COVID-19, the city's services continue uninterrupted. The city is working hard not only to continue our services as usual, but also to do what we can to help connect businesses and workers with those who are struggling during this time with resources they need. We've gotten local business funds through the Small Business Stabilization Grant, and we've encouraged businesses to review the many opportunities for grants, tax breaks, and other financial resources available at the state and the federal level. Here at the city, permits continue to be reviewed and issued. For single-family residential permits, we are 37 compared to 29 last year. And single-family residential alterations are 104 compared to 103 last year. So we've stayed home and we've been working on our homes, or we've found a new home. The City of Anacortes has acquired federal funds to prevent and prepare for and respond to COVID-19. The city is providing this funding to the Anacortes Family Center to administer as Emergency Income Fund. The funds will provide 3 months of rent expenses to prevent evictions of households unable to meet basic needs due to the reduced income as a result of COVID-19. If you're a tenant experiencing lack of income due to the pandemic, or a property owner with tenants that are unable to pay their rent due to the pandemic, please contact Dustin Johnson at the Anacortes Family Center, 360-293-2993, extension 102, 293-2993, extension 102, or email Dustin at anacortesfamily.org. The Park and Recreation Department has been installing new signage educating people on the need for social distancing and mask wearing. In all of our very busy parks and forest lands, you should have a mask on when passing other users. Our Washington Park campground and boat launch continues to serve a large sector of recreating public, along with the Tommy Thompson Parkway and the Grimace Channel Trail. Like other public lands during this ongoing pandemic, visitor numbers are going up. We appreciate everyone who's setting a good example, and we at the city are continuing our efforts to educate people on how to safely visit our parks and forest lands with these new requirements. Meanwhile, our Anacortes Senior Activity Center remains closed to the public. Our Meals on Wheels services have continued uninterrupted, providing the much-needed services to our area's seniors. In July, we served 1,343 home-delivered meals to 60 residents and 167 liquid meals of Ensure to those that needed it, as well as a total of 377 congregate meals being distributed for the month of July. We are thankful to see this service continue uninterrupted. The library is busy planning fall programs. Summer reading will continue for the first 2 weeks of September, so you can pick up your prize book at the curbside every weekday between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., with the exception of Labor Day, when the library will be closed for all services. As library plans for fall, we'll send out surveys to you to get input on what programs you'd like to see. There have been more than 130 virtual programs hosted this summer, which are available online at your convenience. Don't forget to pick up a book on a Friday to see what costumes the staff are wearing for Wacky Fridays. Due to the amazing support from Skagit County, as well as the Degwalik Wellness Center and the Anacortes Family Center, the Skagit County Community Court team is excited to announce the launch of the Anacortes Municipal Community Court. And that will start tomorrow at 3 p.m. At Community Court, defendants accused of a nonviolent misdemeanor crimes, often the result of poverty, addiction, and mental illness, will be connected with local service providers to address their underlying needs that are causing this criminal behavior. By connecting offenders with local resources, the court seeks to reduce the use of the first responder agencies like the fire department, emergency rooms, 911, while reducing the burden to local businesses and the greater community caused by repeated shoplifting, trespassing, and drug paraphernalia cases. Community Court will be held the second and fourth Thursday at 3 p.m. at the Anacortes Municipal Court in person, and will follow the public health guidelines requiring social distancing and masking. And now I come to the question and answer part of my program. We have two questions this week, and the first question is, are there restrictions on selling Christmas trees? I can tell you that people are already looking forward to the holidays and thinking about how things might look a bit different. There is no specific restriction or guidance on Christmas tree sales. However, this would be classified as a retail operation and any physical location where goods are exchanged with the general public. Any retail operation that have in-store business conducted have set rules to follow issued by the governor's Safe Start plan. If you're able to conduct business through curbside service or delivery without physical location, there is a different set of guidelines to follow. What all this means is when the holiday season comes, there will be a Christmas tree. Just like everything else, the way we shop and the way we've gotten trees in the past may look a little different. This morning, I had the opportunity to visit with the Sunriser Kiwanis group, who happen to sell Christmas trees to our community. They are looking forward to providing Christmas trees for this community this September. So stay tuned. I think they're even going to have a little more fun while they do it. Question number 2. Since the Anacortes Municipal Court is opening for hearings, will they start to open up to the public for other services soon? Currently, the Municipal Court is holding very limited hearings scheduled on the second, third, and fourth Thursday of each month. However, the window to the clerk's office remains closed while during Phase 2 of the governor's order. This is by Administrative Order 20-7 from the state level. The city continues to closely follow state guidance on reopening municipal court services. So as I wrap up my 20th COVID-19 briefing, I want to say thank you to all of those of you that have submitted questions and given us feedback and have been active helping fight COVID-19 in our community. For the month of September, we'll transition to a bi-weekly briefing in person. I will be here on September 2nd, the 16th, and the 30th. The alternate week, we will be producing what we call the COVID-19 briefing memo to be published on the city's website and on social media. I look forward to continue to get you the information you need to stay informed. Next week at my briefing, it will look a little different. Dr. Lee Bram, who is our county health official, will be coming to join me for the question and answer portion of my briefing. I will give you an update as I normally do, and then we'll dive into your questions about COVID-19. Please send your questions by email to coa.mayor@cityofanacortes.org, coa.mayor@cityofanacortes.org, or phone 360-299-1950. Submit your questions by 5 p.m. this Friday, and Dr. Liebran and I will give you answers. And let's make them really good questions about the science and the virus and anything that a health official can answer and things you really want to know. Okay. So in conclusion, every week I think about what I can share and what we as a community are thinking about. And what I've realized is we are all yearning to be active and creative. And right now we're having to use virtual spaces to do that. One of the spaces I've seen are the virtual races and running marathons alone. Nonprofits are still having charity 5Ks, and people are participating and finding ways to stay happy and healthy, refusing to let these new circumstances stop them from enjoying life. There are no fellow runners on those solo runs, and no shouting on your left, and there's no porta potties, and there's no crowds at the end, but there's still medals, and there's still a great sense of accomplishment and the ability to support our favorite charity. We're all challenged during these COVID times, and it's important to find ways and look forward, things to look forward to, and have people in our lives to connect safely with. Earlier this week, I read a story in the Wall Street Journal. It was a story about love and isolation. Jack Eccles didn't want to leave his wife, Gere, who had Alzheimer's, on her own, so when the nursing home began lockdown, he decided to move in and be with her and care for her. He never expected this lockdown would be into its 5th month. And yet, after 70 years of marriage, he does not regret his decision and remains in that facility, unable to go about a normal life because of the extreme precautions necessary to assure his wife remains safe and healthy. He has sacrificed his way of life to assure the safety of the woman he loves and has committed himself to isolation. The article talked about the public health consequences of loneliness and isolation and loss of connection that many are experiencing. We had no idea this would be going on for so long, and it has taken a toll on many of us. Something we may not think about often is the less obvious toll in this pandemic is talking about and taking into account the isolating circumstances that some of us live in. We're as a society learning to adapt and overcome this loss of connection by creating opportunities to be part of something larger while being safely apart. People are visiting their loved ones from outside windows. We're using technology like face-to-face, FaceTime on Facebook or Zoom. We're connecting with our grandkids. We're talking to each other on the phone more often than ever. Our senior center volunteers are making home health phone calls, and our Meals on Wheels program is our way to check on the well-being of our homebound. So please take a moment. Think about your family, think about your friends, think about your neighbors, and reach out. Together, we will thrive, and we will survive 2020. Thank you once again for being with me today, and I'll see you all next week with Dr. Lee Brand.